Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on this beautiful September day. I'm not sure what the weather's like where you are, but it is definitely extremely hot and sunny here in Ontario and Brampton. So excited to be with you here today. We have an amazing guest speaker. Many of you know Julie Devicia. She's been to our Canadian conference. She's been done tours, traveled all across Canada with us to present different topics. Just an outstanding speaker, and she's worked in the health industry for over 18 years. She's a traditional naturopathic doctor, a certified natural health consultant, certified iridologist, and herbalist. And she was born and raised in beautiful Colorado, and she actually taught kickboxing and step classes as a certified aerobic instructor. She manages a growing practice, and she helps numerous clients and cares for her family. Julie's love for health, living, and has been embraced by her family. She's got 6 kids and a grandson and a wonderful husband. So we're so honored to have her with us today and talking about healthy eating options and making it fun for our kids. Now with kids back to school, there's always the challenge of like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? What am I going to make? We don't want to do this terrible Lunchables and different things like that and pre-processed. We want to give them a healthy option and a great start. So Julie's going to be talking about that, and if you have any questions during her message, please type them in the question box to the right there. The handouts are also there on the right that you can download. It's a PDF of the slides here today, so you can have those with us. This is being recorded, so will be put on the website and emailed out to you, so you will have this. So if you couldn't write frantically and miss something, don't worry. It's being recorded and will be posted on our website. So without further ado, I will pass this over to our amazing speaker, Julie.
Well, good afternoon there. I am really thrilled to be here, and I love speaking on, the kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about here today. We're going to talk about healthy eating options, making it fun, creating a love for life, and healthy eating along the way. Along with that, though, I kind of thought as I was looking over this whole idea of this presentation, not only do I want to help you with some healthy eating options, I want to help you to kind of get through this year with our children or with ourselves, kind of helping our immune system. So I thought I would give us just a little herbal, kind of first aid kind of ideas as we go along as well. So stay tuned for that as we go along. So my belief system is if we create healthy children, we'll create a healthy world. And of course, when I look at that, I'm going to look at food, I'm going to look at fitness, and above all, keep it fun. And with that, as I look at that, the first thing that I was thinking as I went along with this is the first thing I would tell you with anybody, whether it's a child or whether it's a client or whether it's just someone that you're working with, could be a family member, the first thing I'm going to tell you is love them. Love them, treasure them. And as you do that, first of all, my belief system is children are a heritage of the Lord. In other words, they truly are a blessing. And as we focus on that, that will bring us joy in our future as well. But it will bring a better world as we love our children, as we treasure them, and as in everything that we do, as we love our client, as we treasure them, it's going to make a better world. One of the comments that I get as a naturopath when people are coming in to see me, they say, one of the things that I love coming to see you is you take time. So one of the key things in loving somebody and treasuring them is the time spent. So make sure that as we're working with our children, since that's going to be our subject here, whether they're grown or whether they're young, take time with them. Take time with them so that you're building them. And we'll put some practical steps. And you may be like me. It's no longer a time for me to raise them. My children are all raised. My baby out of 6 is going to be 25 on Sunday. On 9/11, my Jonathan turns 25. So it's not a time that I'm going to do some of these things that we would do with younger children, but it is a time when I'm truly going to, invest in them, even as my grown children. So I don't want to In other words, to lose hope, going, well, I've raised my children, they are grown. A lot of the application that I'm going to give you here is going to benefit no matter what age of the person that you're working with. So I want to encourage you with that. So our children are the future of this world. So think about that as we're investing in them. And so with that said, I'm going to say, yes, I'm moving on to the next generation. I have grandchildren, and in investing in them, I'm building the future of our world. So if we could really wrap our brains around that, whether it's in health, when we're talking physical health, whether it's emotional health, whether it's spiritual health, we're building the future of our world. The love, the time, the energy, and the training that we put into them, it creates our world for tomorrow. It creates their world for tomorrow. It creates the world for tomorrow. So as we're looking at that, so remember, one of the things that's hard, if you're a young mother and you're on here, and I really can identify with you because I want to give you my vision, or give you a vision of where I was, I guess I should say. I want you to take back Julie into a young mother, and first of all, I'm going to tell you that I had 6 children, 10 years old and younger. 6, 10 years old and younger. That means, Julie, for 10 straight years, and even more, because you could count the years that I nursed the last ones, right? I was either pregnant or nursing for 10 straight years. Now, mind you, I had 2 miscarriages in there. So if you want somebody to identify with you, I'll identify with you. I know what it's like to think, my children will never even be out of diapers, right? I mean, I really didn't believe that they would ever get out of diapers, but they did, and they're grown now, so I'm going to assure you of that. But I'm just going to say, at those hectic moments, at those moments when you think, I never get any time, you get to be last on the list, remember, you're building your future for tomorrow. Guess what, guys? I invested into my children, and today my children are some of my best friends. They're definitely in that best friend circle, and I just had the privilege of traveling with one of my daughters in Ireland. What good times, what good memories. And I believe part of that was my investment through her as a young child, as a teenager, and now into adulthood. And with that said, I don't want anybody to leave this going, well, I didn't invest the time then. I'm a firm believer that today is the first day of the rest of your life. Invest today. If there's something you need to do to make amends, do it. Humble yourself and you'll be lifted up. So in other words, go make those things right and make a better future. So encourage that. So one of the first things is we're treasuring them. I want you to cook with love. And I am a firm believer that you can cook with love. So as you do it, if they want their eggs cooked a certain way, cook their eggs a certain way. Give them choices. The more choices we give our children, involve them in the choices, that's going to be part of them. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but make their food with love. Incorporate, some fun into the choosing, right? Let them choose. Is there things that we can do to make the choosing fun? Are there things that we can do to involve them? In other words, you can control that and let them choose. So today we're going to make a smoothie. Take them over to the fridge where you keep the fruit and say, do you want to choose some of your fruit? Would you like to choose? We could have kale or spinach. Which one would you like to choose? And you say, well, they don't like that. But when you start letting them make the choices, they go, oh, because they feel empowered. Because some children will say they don't like something just to control you. So as you involve them in that, they'll feel more validated. And, maybe day 1, it's a little rough. Day 2, it gets a little easier. By day 7, they're going, oh, I get to choose to make my smoothie. I get time with mom or dad, whoever's on this, auntie, uncle, Mimi or Papa, or whatever, right? So as you're looking at that, involve them in the choosing. Involve them in the preparation. I was talking with my daughter and granddaughter yesterday, and they were telling me that my granddaughter, who's not even 2, was helping to prepare the smoothie, right? she was making the choices and putting in the strawberries, and she was putting in the apple, and she put in the spinach, and she pushed the button. So even young children can be involved in this, especially as our children get older. And guess what the blessing is as you take the time? Does it take more time? Absolutely. It takes more time right now. But guess what? When they get to be old enough to run those, you could say, honey, mommy's getting ready. Can you go make our smoothies? And they'll feel so empowered and so grown up. Also, experimenting. Have fun experimenting. You know, you could say, do you want to today to put some cacao into our smoothie? And you can just hear them. And I can hear my little grandbaby again, and she'll go, and she makes her choice of yes or no. And, you know, making it an experiment. Some of your experiments will be good, some will be bad, but you'll learn along the way. And then, of course, my favorite of all, being a foodie, is the eating. As you take time to eat whatever you've created. So make eating healthy, but make it fun, right? So you can incorporate both, and you can tell when you get later on whether you've made that healthy fun or not, because then the family wants to follow, because this creates a love for life, it creates a love for family, it creates a love for healthy food and nature, right? Because you bring it in. I've taken my young grandbaby, because guess what? I get to work on this next generation. And since she was just teeny, we went and touched everything in nature, everything from watermelons, and she loved it. And I think that's what she loves about me the most, is we go touch everything. Pineapples in the store, we touch apples, we touch all these things, and she's learning this love for natural health and for nature by touching even the outside of a tree. And I wanted to give you this study, lest your belief system is that you can't cook with love and put love in. So through the 1990s, Dr. Masaru Emoto performed a series of experiments, and he observed the physical effect of words, prayers, music, and environment on the crystalline structure of water. Emoto hired photographers to take pictures of the water after being exposed to different variables and subsequently frozen so that they would form crystalline structures. The results were nothing short of remarkable. So you can see, water before prayer, water after prayer, saying thank you, love and appreciation. And the only, I'm not going to go deep into this, but the point is, when there was a positive stamped on this water, there was a positive change in the structure. And all I want to say with that is I want to encourage us that our words, our actions, they're going to change the health of the child as well. I'm a firm believer that it's not just what goes into the mouth, but it's what comes out of the mouth. It's what we implant upon people that changes their health. You can change, the Bible says death and life are in the power of the tongue. Whether you believe the Bible or not, right? That's not my point here. The point is we can change a person within moments. Even, and you've heard me talk in the past, I can make you acidic with my words, or I can make you alkaline with my words. So if you even want to take it to that point. So treasure them. Make their food with love. Incorporate some fun into all the choosing, the preparation, the experimenting, and the eating. Allow them to choose some of the recipes. And then go shopping together. So, you choose the healthy recipes, of course, right? And then let them pick out of those healthy recipes. So realistically, you're controlling the environment. You're not putting down, recipes made with hot tubs before them, right? You're choosing recipes that you approve of the ingredients, and then you're saying to the child, which one of these would you like to make? Let's make up our week's menu, and you choose the recipe, and you're going to help me. And guess what? They're going to love that. And then you're going to go shopping together and show them how you shop from the outer edges of the grocery store, right? And show them, as we incorporate nature sunshine into the recipes, how fun that is, how good that is. And with that, as I've done that with my children, They have a love and a faithfulness even to nature's sunshine as adults. So as you're doing that, and you can incorporate that into your adult children, invite them over and say, you know what, I wanted to do some recipes, or go to their house, help them out. I don't know many young mothers that wouldn't love another mother standing beside them and say, hey, would you like to cook together? I'd like to, you know, support you and help you, and we could shop together. I could help with the kids, whatever. So just some ideas. Allowing them to see how to select the healthy options and to choose from the beautiful colors of the rainbow. That's a big thing with me. Help them to get excited when they go into the fruit and vegetable aisles and how vibrant the colors. It really gives me energy to go and to see that and to touch and to smell, and showing them how to purchase these foods as well. And then let them help in the preparation of the recipes, right? That's, again, and remember, even young children can help. I've already had my grandbaby, who's not yet 2, and she did this when she was closer to probably 14 months. We baked some of my healthier options, and I would hold her in my arms, and I would scoop it out and I'd let her dump, right? It may be so simple as that, but they feel very validated. And it really gives them a maturity beyond them without pushing them in a wrong way. So I'm not requiring her to do something, I'm allowing her. And there's a total difference when we do that, right? So they'll enjoy the food better because they'll understand they made it, and it makes for a little bit of forgiveness as we make them. And, you know, I just kind of wanted to give you some ideas that there's kid-friendly tools for them. Things where they can help chop even, right? They can help scoop and they can help stir. So I also encourage some play with their kitchen tools. So when we're not preparing the food, right? We play that we eat strawberries. We play that we eat berries. We play that we're drinking our smoothie. So we play at these kind of things, and we play that we make them and we feed them to our dolls and our bears and our little teeny people and our stuffed animals. We play that way, so it becomes such a part of their brain structure, and their brain. You could play at some of these herbal remedies that I'm going to give you, right? You could play and say, oh, does our baby have an owie? From very young children to children that, of course, you don't talk with that same tone, right? All along the way, incorporate play into it so that even when we're not making the real mess, because let's be honest, my kitchen is probably my most lived-in area of my home. We gather there. We mix. You know, when the family gets together, I'm thinking about it. Those of you that know me well know that I invested in a gelato machine so I can make ice cream today from even young coconuts. So I make raw ice cream. That's a whole new term that we could talk about later. But we gather. I push out ingredients on the table, and I say, sometimes I push a recipe and I say, you create this and add your own touch, and you create that. And this is what we do with the adults, but the young children are incorporated into this as well. So just kind of want to encourage you with that, and you'll create that love. And guess what else I'm creating? I'm creating this whole family atmosphere and this fun, and they're feeling validated. And I'm even thinking of my daughter-in-law. When she first came, she didn't know what the inside of an avocado looked like. And I think about her today, and I push a recipe over there. And for those of you that know my recipe book, Fat Girl Foods on a Healthy Budget, she helped create the glaze for the scone that's in there that we made actually for my husband's, one of his birthdays. She helped create the glaze. I threw some ingredients and some ideas, and she created it with the healthy ingredients. She comes over, and when we make ice cream, I throw some healthy ingredients at them, and I say, throw a flavor at me, you know, but kind of remember what's in it. So as we're creating and having fun. So we can do this with young children. Teaching as a way of life. And with this, seize the moments for teaching. Teach with every opportunity, right? So in order to do this, though, you're going to have to be tuned into them and not the media. Put away the smartphone, put away the television, maybe even the radio, guys. Be tuned into them. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about even more than food, because I believe health involves the total man, right? Body, mind, and spirit, right? So when we're talking about that, I can create more opportunities for teaching, whether it's spelling, arithmetic, healthy eating, no matter what it is you want to teach, there's always teachable moments. You've got to be watching for them. But if we're so distracted with our media, especially, then we're not going to be there. So put it away. Teach with every opportunity, you know, and that's what we're doing. Here is a picture of a family doing it in the kitchen, and everybody's excited with this array of colors and what's going on. But we could add that to everything that we do. There are so many moments for teaching, you know, with reading, with writing, with arithmetic. You know, you can add numbers together. So we're going to make a recipe, and we need, from very young children, I need 1, 2 tomatoes. That's a teachable moment. If you're following what I'm doing, if I was teaching a young child, I would say, can you hand me 1 red bell pepper, 1 green bell pepper, and 1 yellow? You get what I'm talking about. There's so much of that. Seize the moment. I really want to encourage you with that, because I believe, again, a healthy child, body, mind, and spirit. Be active. Give them toys that encourage activity. That was one of the points that I wanted to make with this, because, you know, the studies show that children who believe that they have the skills needed to be active are more likely to be active as they become adults, right? So with that, I want you to encourage that. And then, you know, giving them toys to be active instead of toys to sit on the rear end. And, you know, you're really going to get a part of me. I really have a real problem with too much media today. So much media that it's stealing from our children, because, you know, the studies show that children who are active have stronger immune systems and healthier emotional outlooks. So it cuts off at the edge everything else that I'm going to be showing you. So I kind of want you to see that. Take walks with them, ride bikes, play ball, you know, get out and learn new ways to be active, go swimming, show them how to use a kickboard, show them how to do water aerobics, whatever it is. Be active. It doesn't have to look the way that, you know, it does when Julie teaches, you know, kickboxing. By the way, I'm going back into that, as Rancha mentioned, that I used to, because I have a new fitness studio opening up that I'm going to be the head of. So as we're looking at that, be active. Teach your children to be active. Here's a little challenge with this, by the way. How about a 40-day fasted media period? And I don't mean, you know, those of us that have to be active with Facebook for business, and those of us that have to be active with social media for that purpose, then we can be there for that, right? But how about shutting the television off for 40 days? All movies, all television for 40 days. Do it fast. If you believe in prayer, add prayer to that. But then add activity. You'll be amazed. And I'm going to give you a little quote I've been meditating on with this. Do you realize that we really can only, if we're going to be healthy and get our 8 hours sleep, we can only be productive for about, you know, 16 hours a day, 14 to 16 hours a day. If you're spending as little as 2 hours a day on the television or watching movies, I don't care what you call it, but staring at a box, do you realize that you're basically every week giving up 1 day of your life in productivity? I just want you to meditate on that. That could go for social media, could go for video games. So if we're allowing our children to do a lot of that, we're losing time. And that means productivity, it means time with our children, it means a lot of things. So just a challenge with that to go above and beyond. Again, make it fun. Remember, tasks can be labor or fun. You know, you go in there and clean your room, okay? That could work. Or how about let's go in and clean your room, and you could make some fun of it, right? Because attitude is so much of teaching children, whether it be health, good behavior, habits, or learning. So when we're taking them in there and we're saying clean the room, you could go in and say, let's organize this. Show them the proper way, because you know there's a right way and a wrong way to do tasks, right? I'm not a firm believer in dumping everything out and then trying to fit it back in, because, man, if you get tired halfway through the process, you're in trouble. I'm a firm believer that you clean one part of the room and make that look good and push it aside. Even if I have to shove everything into the closet, if it's a really terrible room, get the room organized and looking good so you can feel good about that. and then take everything that you shoved in the closet and put it away, give it away, or throw it away, right? Makes the task so much easier. So as you're doing that, because, you know, there's something called feng shui, and that means the flow of energy. And if a room is cluttered, right, you're not going to create a healthy child, not in their mind especially, because they can't work through that. You can't work through it. You're also not going to create health because it creates clutter in the body, and it especially affects the glands. So I want you to think about that. Clear the clutter, excuse me. And as you're looking at that, that creates health for you. So I'm going to take this a step further, and I know I'm giving you a lot, but as you're looking at this, if your home is cluttered, I want you, instead of what I just did with the room, you can do that, you know, a room at a time, or you could take one room, clear it completely of the clutter. Like I said, I don't care if you shove it into a closet for now. Clear it, dust it, get it organized, and have one room that you can have for a haven. Now move to another room. Do you see what I'm doing here? I don't know. You know, you go on these shows, and I've watched it a couple times. It makes me a nervous wreck, these hoarder shows, and they go try to do the whole home at once. That's way too overwhelming. So take a place at a time. That's a good rule for life, and that'll help you to clear the clutter out of their surroundings so they can clear it out of their mind. You can clear it out of your mind, whether this is for the adult or for them. I think this will be helpful to you. Reward them for good eating and right behavior. I'm not against bribery. I'm going to be real honest. I bribed my children when they were young, and one of the things that I did was called crystal sparks. I rewarded them and taught them the value of money using these. So in other words, a crystal spark was just my little, I created money, right? So I created these dollar bills, and they were all ones, and I suppose I might have had some tens, but I created these ones. And so every time they did, let's say they drank their smoothie, I might give them 1 or 2 crystal sparks. And so they were like their dollar system, right? Because really, what is money anyway? It's just paper, right? So I made this little money system for them, and they could buy things with that. So they could come, and I had a box, and I had some sugar-free chewing gum. You could even have some of Nature Sunshine's gummy bears, because those are so yummy, and they always want more than they get, right? So you could have some of those. But you could have, you know, little pencils. You could have whatever you want, things that you consider good to reward them with, right? In this little box. It can be stuff you buy from the dollar store, whatever, right? Put it in this box. But you could also have, if you don't want TV time to be something free, they could buy TV time. They could buy, if you allow video games, I don't recommend them too highly, but if you do, they could buy that time. They could buy a date with mom. That was one of the things I let them buy. They could buy a date with dad. They could buy, get your favorite dessert, right? So that when you're getting an exception, it's bought, right? Because really it's bought, guys. You ladies know, if you're going to have a dessert, you're going to pay for it somewhere, right? So as you look at that, that's a way to do that. But I also wanted you to realize working together. Get them out in the yard. I love that. Get them out into the yard. And when I used to do this, even with my grandson, when he's now 18, by the way, when he was young, I would take him out, and we'd even find roly-polies in the yard. He loved that. You know, boys like the bugs, right? So I'd help him find the bugs. But he'd help me plant the seeds, and every day we'd go out and look for our little babies to peep their little heads out. You could take them out and do a job together and say, you know what, if you help me weed this area, I'll give you 10 crystal sparks. And it spends like money to them, so they love it. They could save it, and, you know, so many crystal sparks could equate to a trip to the dollar store, whatever, or, you know, towards a bike, whatever, you know, however big it gets for you. Keep that in mind. And this system worked quite well, and guess what? It taught my children the value of money before they became old enough to actually go into the stores and spend much money. So it's really a good system. So let's talk about some fun recipes that we could incorporate, you know, as we're moving into the school year and kids are in school, and we want to make things fun. So Smoothie Pops, that's one of the first ones I have here. Take your favorite smoothie recipe and pour them into either ice cube trays or ice popsicle molds. You know, and of course there's optional things you could add, cocoa. This doesn't have to be green. This same recipe, this is my basic smoothie recipe, is I stuff a blender full of spinach. I use kale sometimes, but kale has such a strong flavor. Go with spinach a lot of the time, so stuff it full of spinach. And then I put even 1 apple, guys, for the whole blender, right? So those of you doing the Inform program, this works. So you stuff the whole blender full of your spinach, and then you put your 1 piece of fruit that you're allowed in for the day, and then you just put ice and 4 scoops of your favorite protein into there and water. And of course, you can add some cocoa to it, because even your Nature's Harvest is delicious with some cocoa added to it, right? Or you could add chia seeds, diced fruit into here. You could roll it in coconut, whatever. Just have fun with it. And they're delicious, and the kids will look forward to it. Remember, let them do some of the choosing, and they'll have a lot of fun with it. How about some coconut macaroons? So, as you're doing it, I put the recipe here, guys. It's just throw it into a bowl, stir it up, mold them into balls, and I store them into the freezer. My favorite, of course, has cacao in it. I like the chocolate, right? But the Zambrosia is wonderful in it, and it adds that wonderful antioxidant benefits that Zambrosia has, right? Being the strongest antioxidant out there. So you can add that into there. You could add TNT and add that nice creamsicle kind of a flavor. And don't forget TNT actually on that. Let's go back to that smoothie recipe. Oh my goodness, nothing better than a creamsicle, right? So as we're looking at that, but you can have fun with these. I kind of like to add some nuts sometimes to mine. I do a lot of the cacao and add the nuts, and I use my favorite, proteins in there. The NutriBurn is really good with these as well. You can add that in there. Nature's Harvest, for those kids that don't like to eat their vegetables and fruits, having those 49 different superfoods, that makes it a lot of fun. But they're grab and goes, and they're ready. So when the kids want a treat, you pull these out, and guess what? They're on the low carb list. You can help take some of that weight off of these kids, because our kids are becoming obese nowadays. So, that's a way to do it. But on the other hand, if you have a child that needs good fats for their brain, this is another solution for them, right? Because coconut is a good fat, and yet you're doing protein, and protein jumpstarts the pituitary, thyroid, and adrenal, which keeps their metabolism going, but it helps their brain start. Remember, kids who have trouble with their mouth and just saying stupid things, they need more protein into their body as well. ADHD, this is going to be a great help with that and kind of keep them focused. So as you're looking at it. Then another one I really like is my throw it together muffins. And remember, you can mix this up, and remember again, use your favorite protein. What is your favorite protein? Are you trying to get the more, vegetables and fruits? Guess what? You would use NutriBurn in this, and then we're throwing zucchini and applesauce in there. So I shred carrots into mine and zucchini. I mean, I really have some fun with these, and I make them up and then I freeze them so that they don't, because I don't like the spoilage thing. And you can throw these into lunches really easy. And realistically, are you just throwing a treat? This is a meal. If you look at it, it really is a very decent meal. So if your kids are leaving early and you need a good breakfast, this is an excellent breakfast that you can throw in there. You can throw some of their coconut macaroons for dessert and know that you're adding more protein and more nutrition to everything they do. These make good after-school snacks, right? This can be part of their lunch as well, and just assuring that they're getting more nutrients. And when you start looking at, am I giving them their 6 to 8 vegetables and fruits in a day when they go to school and there's so much garbage they're exposed to? This makes you feel good as a mom, and it keeps their immune system higher. This is a new thing that's out. You see it more on the East and the West Coast. And I know my granddaughter, who's not yet 2, this is her favorite meal, and it's called a Smoothie Bowl. Because if I say to her, I say, do you want some Smoothie Bowl? She goes, uh-huh. Because she loves it, and guess what? She gets to choose. You want some chia seeds on there? So say, uh-huh, and she loves coconut on there, right? So you take, again, that smoothie recipe, And we do that basic one. A lot of times we might throw some extra pineapple if you're not on like the Inform program. You can, have some fun and do some different things with it. But I'm telling you, that recipe I gave you is over the top in flavor. So it's not sacrificing anything. But add some of these favorite things. You eat it like a bowl of cereal. Do you get tired of just drinking your smoothie? Do the kids not want to eat a smoothie? What about a smoothie bowl? It looks totally different and it can be fun. And remember, if you're really having a hard time with them, throw a little, cocoa or cacao into the smoothie, and guess what? They eat it right up. And that kind of helps them with that. So just some ideas with that. And if you throw a little of your green zone powder, it helps with the ADHD. I don't know if you know that, because the cacao mixed with the green zone kind of helps us with some of that ADD and ADHD, by the way. So just some fun things to kind of throw into the smoothies and the smoothie bowls, the smoothie bowl pops. You can throw that green powder also into your macaroons. Just go on the light side. Guys, don't overdo things. When I make a recipe, you err on the light side and increase it as their taste buds increase for it. Don't throw a whole bunch, because if you turn them off, they never want to try it again, right? How about some protein balls? Take, again, your favorite protein, and we can add some almond butter, some peanut butter. There's cashew butters out there. Make your own. Sesame butter, sunflower butter, any of that, right? Add your sweeteners that you want to add. I try to stay, honey is a very natural product. So is maple syrup. I use a lot of stevia. I lower the glycemic index is what I'm doing with this. So, adding the stevia and not too much. Nobody picks up on the stevia, even if you're a stevia hater. Of course, I'm a stevia lover, so it doesn't bother me, but I err on the lighter side of it. Don't overdo it, right? As you're doing this, again, mix it together, throw them in the freezer. If you guys took a day a week and made up these recipes, guess what? You could take care of the week or the month. They'll store well in an airtight container in the freezer, and they save your life. And again, have some fun with this. Pecans make a good variation into these. I love mine. I love pecans in mine. I'm a crunch girl, right? You could put other fun things. Chia seeds go really well in here. Hemp seeds go good in here, which adds even a little more protein. You could put sunflower seeds. You could put pumpkin seeds, which, pumpkin seeds can, of course, help us with parasites. That's why our herbal pumpkin is such a good product. Just some ideas as we're going forward with this, right? How about some vitamin pops? Again, simple idea with the popsicle. These can be poured into ice cube trays or ice popsicle modes. This ambrosia, got the wrong word there, didn't I? This ambrosia, add it to the Soul Stick Nutrition. Oh my goodness, do you want to build their immune system? Let them have a vitamin pop every day, even if it's just an ice cube tray full. It's, the little ice cube is what I want to say. Put that, again, you can throw these ice cubes into drinks. Give them the Soul Stick Nutrition. Let them drink it with the ice cubes in it. It really intensifies the flavor. Give them Ambrosia Pops. Those are another one, or mix it all together. Create, be creative with your ideas here and make it fun. Now, let's get on to the build them and protect them kind of a approach. The ABC plus D approach, right? And we'll talk about that in further, and we'll talk about never fail. And then we wanted to talk about enemas and implants. And I know I go a bit deep with things, but I really like to give you all that I can in our short hour together. So A is for activation. Keep the gut moving. That's the big thing. So what do we want to use here with kids? We could use some of our, different fibers that we have. We have, the low-clo. We could use probiotics here. We want to encourage water. And don't forget, all these smoothies and these popsicles that we've made, that encourages water. Don't forget to use your soul sticks to encourage the drinking of water, your chlorophyll to encourage the drinking of water, right? So those are some things that we want to do for activation. So as you're looking at that, right? So make sure we've got the chewable Bifidophilus for the children. That's a good probiotic. And then your, you know, your probiotic 11. You guys have a different name for that. I think you call it Pro 11. So your different probiotics, add those in. B is for build. So as we're building, the children's multivitamin is a good one to add for the B, right? Because we're going to do, every day we want to do some of the A, the B, okay, as we're getting on and building. So we're talking about this ambrosia. That's a good building product that we're looking at. Our chewable vitamin C. You know, as you're looking at vitamin C, some things I want you to be aware of, women, as you're maturing, so we want to start our girls off young, vitamin C helps build collagen. I need a whole boatload of that, as Dr. Abraham would say, a whole boatload, right? So as we look at that, vitamin C helps that, but vitamin C really helps build the immune system. So a regular part of every day, let them have, you know, some of that chewable vitamin C. We could talk about the Soul Stick nutrition and how having them to drink that or eat popsicles every day with that. Your protein powders, whether we're making the protein balls, whether we're making the popsicles, whatever it is, that's building them with the right nutrition. And Mom, it takes a burden off of us, because as we add these, I call them health insurance. I call the kind of health insurance that our government provides or that we buy, I call that sick insurance. I call what we do here, adding these extra nutrients, it's health insurance. Every time you give them a shot of ambrosia in a popsicle, in their shake, or have them take it straight, you're giving health insurance with their antioxidants. And remember, antioxidants, when you're thinking about ambrosia, do you understand? I call it grace and mercy. It literally, for people who damage cells, it can go in there and repair the smoothness of the cell. And remember, a strong cell is not easily invaded. So I want you to think about that. You want them to have good, strong cells that are not invaded. If their cells don't seem to be strong, their immune system's down, then you want to be giving them, you know, the Soul Stick nutrition. You want to be giving them the vitamin C. You want to be giving them this ambrosia. You want to make sure that they're having good protein-filled items without the sugar, because remember, sugar weakens the immune system for 4 hours after taking it. So provide them with natural sweeteners like the honey and the maple syrup that does not do that, okay? C, let's move on to C. We got our A, B. We're on to C. That's for cleansing. You know, routine detoxification. Guess what? If you have them on fiber and probiotics, their bodies are going to be able to cleanse as you look at that. So I want you to keep that in mind as you're looking at that. So if you're wanting to provide, you know, cleansing for them, that's a good way to do that, right? As you're looking at that. We also wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, doing some enemas with the children as we're looking at children. One of the ones that I like is to just take garlic oil and to put it into, I get the little Fleet enema bottles for the children. That's about the right size for children. If you do that and you open up garlic oil capsules into your water, and you put it into warm water, and that helps the children to get rid of lots of poisons. I've got to tell you that with asthma, it's phenomenal. With a child that has too much mucus, it's phenomenal. That's a good one that you can use for that. So that's a good way that we can do that. So if you're looking at ways to do that. So another one is your psyllium capsules. You can open those up for children. So if you want to open those up and help them to get enough fiber, that's another way that you can do that. So as you're looking for that, so help the children to cleanse their bodies. So use these enemas. Then after you've done this garlic enema, you can implant into them. And so that kind of goes into building, but it kind of goes into direct aid. And one of the ones that I like best for an implant, you say, Julie, what in the world is an implant? It's where you take a cool water, put it back into that same fleet enema after you've done the warm water with the garlic, and you put chlorophyll. You put about, for a child, 2 teaspoons. And then you put open two of your probiotic capsules. And then I like to put 2 teaspoons of a liquid mineral as we look at, our liquid minerals. So that's what I include into that. And then what you do with that is you put the entire mixture back in with the implant, and you put that into the body. So as you look at that, one of the ones, so let's go back over that recipe. So we're going to open up 2 of our probiotic capsules. We're going to put 2 teaspoons of the chlorophyll. We're going to put 2 teaspoons of our essential liquid minerals into that. You could use mineral chi, but mineral chi is going to create a lot of energy. So I'd probably take that down to 1 teaspoon if I was going to use the mineral chi, if I needed that extra energy. And I've got to tell you, the reason I call this Never Fail is my first time I used it, and you've heard this talk on this part before. I had a 7-year-old boy that had vomiting and diarrhea, and he'd had it for 3 days before his mother came to me, and I didn't even want to help her, not because I didn't want to help her, but because of the liability, but I told her I'll give you 1 day. We took this Never Fail and administered by mouth, and then had her do the enemas and the implants. By the next day, he was running around my backyard like he'd never been ill. Because remember, your principle here is the minerals replace the electrolytes. That's a big danger of vomiting and diarrhea. Your probiotics are good bacteria which fight invading bacteria, and chlorophyll helps you to alkaline the body. So as you're thinking about that, so just some ideas with that. I kind of wanted to take a little bit of time. I know we're getting short on time, and I want to leave a couple minutes for Rancha here, if I can. But I wanted to just talk about a couple of direct aids. And so as we were talking about that, I guess, one of the first things that I would have to say, if I was thinking about, this winter coming up and how I'd want to be prepared, then I'd want some of your Silvergard mouthwash. And such a funny thing I'm going to have you do with your mouthwash, right? Because Silvergard is one of my first lines of defense, because I don't know if you're really aware of Silvergard and what it can do. You can put Silvergard in the eyes for conjunctivitis, or you may call it pink eye. You can put it in the ears, and we'll talk about your approach here. You can put it into very young children. Just put it in a little spray bottle. Spray the back of their throats if they complain of a sore throat, or any kind of a mouth infection, thrush, or anything. You can spray it in there. If you get a problem with the skin, you can take the Silvergard mouthwash or the Silver Shield gel, and you can apply it onto a cut or a wound. Any type of infection, you can put it on there. If it's too tender for touch, even a burn, it can be sprayed on there. So I want you to really think about, and what I've told people in the past, if you have a problem, if there's an opening, so women, we could go into vaginal infections. If there's an opening, you put it there. Now, one of the points I want to make with this is where people go, well, it's not been effective for me. The one thing that can nullify it is salt. So if you're eating a lot of salty foods, then you need to, one, take that into consideration, and you need to separate it by about, I would like you to give a whole half hour. So don't eat any salt within a half hour of using the silver, because remember, salt does interfere with silver. So as you're looking at that, the people that I've had complain about it, they're salt junkies. And so when I gave them that point, they go, oh, it works great. We use it in nebulizers. You should purchase a nebulizer. And we're talking a breathing nebulizer, which is a machine where it creates a vapor and you breathe it in. And our Silvergard mouthwash is safe to put in the nebulizers. And guys, I get rid of all kinds of things. In that way, it's easy for the children to breathe the vapor into up their nose. So if you're dealing with some sinus problems, you can deal with it, breathing it into the lungs. Amazing at getting rid of different, problems. And remember that Silvergard mouthwash has a patent on it that shows that it's effective against viruses, bacteria, and fungi. So as you look at it, and here's another point that I wanted to make with that, is when you breathe it in through the lungs, it can get into the brain. So I wanted you to keep that in mind and see how effective with that. So as you do the Never Fail, that was one approach. As you work with the Silvergard mouthwash or the Silver Shield gel, you really have a huge line of defense. Now, let's add on to that real quickly. How about some Thai food? Your Thai food oil is amazing. And I want to have that in my herbal medicine chest along with a little bit of tea tree. Now, with that in addition to your Silvergard, I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of things that you can do, because you can take that Thai food and you can mix it with a little bit of, I like to mix my grapeseed oil is a good kind of massage. You can mix it in there. So I pour a little bit of grapeseed oil in my hand, and then I drop the Thai food oil in there, and I can make a chest rub and a back rub. I can use it for headaches, right? Just remember, keep it away from the eyes. I can use it for that chest rub and the back rub, and then take your hand and cup it and pat the chest and the back, and I can loosen phlegm and mucus. Add a little bit of your ALJ, to that, and we can remove the mucus as we're looking at that. So these are some ideas to kind of keep you built up. But don't forget your elderberry chewable that you can add in for children. And remember, elderberry has the ability, as you think about a virus coming along as an organism that has spikes on it, and how those spikes can go up and attack your cells, and that's how they invade. Elderberry knocks the spikes off. So would an elderberry actually maybe be good in the build section so that we keep the immune system strong and that we don't even come in and bring our immune system down to where we deal with these things? I'm a firm believer, keep them strong. But if you do, add elderberry in there as your D, as a direct A. So I hope some of these recipes will help you going forward in the future. So let's sum up so I can leave at least a couple of minutes for Rancha. Summing it all up, love them. Our children, whether young or grown, are a blessing to us. If at times we forget that, now is the perfect time to once again remember what a blessing they are. Maybe at times we do, guys. We get busy, we get overwhelmed. So I once again want to bring that back into focus. Put love into all that we do, into our cooking, our mentoring, our instruction, even into housework, right? Guide them and give them freedom to make choices. That builds self-esteem, right? Remember, we can influence those choices when they are young, though. I really want to encourage that. But guess what? I've been encouraging it in my grown children. But remember, if you come in with love, that makes all the difference. Not control, with love. Stay active. Just a reminder, stay active with them, stay active for you. Next, seize the opportunity. Make it fun. Reward them. Do it together. Add the A, B, C plus D approach. And above all, enjoy every moment. With that, I want to thank you. And Rancha, I'm on to you. I think you have some good things to talk about, it looks like.
Well, thank you so much for that. That was fantastic. And my mouth was watering looking at those recipes. So I'm excited to try some of them. So thank you so much. So if anybody does have any questions, now is the time to type them in here for Julie while I just kind of go through some of the specials that we have going on. So this promotion is going on until the 9th. We've got promotion for body detox, and there's the cat's claw, echinacea, and a whole bunch of good stuff. So make sure you take advantage of that. That goes until the 9th. This is the other promotion is obviously the Sharing Sunshine. So every new sign up from the 1st to the 16th is getting the free magnesium complex and a spirulina. And in addition, you, the sponsor, will receive a free spirulina. And this only goes until the 16th. So please make sure to keep promoting that and make sure that you're aware of that. We've got the Renew promotion going on as well. So that's for the month of September. It's the magnesium that is going out. So we have that. And can't talk enough about conference. Conference is 6 weeks away. It's so exciting. It's going to be in Calgary, October 13th through the 15th at the beautiful downtown Weston. If you have not signed up, I strongly encourage you to do that as soon as possible. The first 200 people to register are going to receive Tiffany Peterson's Nourish Your Network CD for free. So there's still some time, still some spots left for that, so take advantage of it. And then we also have the Inform certification taking place on Sunday. And you definitely want to be there for that. So if you are not an Inform coach, you definitely want to be there to get certified. Excuse me, everything that we're going to be talking about, not everything, but a good chunk is going to be about the new clinical trials and the new Inform kits and a lot of great material. So that's going to tie in with the Inform training on Sunday. Those of you that are already coaches, we encourage you obviously to come there for the recertification. So it's going to be a fantastic day, so make sure that you are signing up for that. We also have Bronze Academy, which is taking place the day of. So conference starts Thursday evening, and this is going on from 9 to 4. This will be a dual project here with myself and our special guest speaker, Brandon Barber, who's a leadership expert and business coach and life coach, and he'll be there for the afternoon to work with you. And so excited to have him be there with us. I had the opportunity to spend some time with him at the Canadian Direct Selling Association conference, and he spoke to all of the leaders there and was just phenomenal, and just really opened up people's eyes and just changed their thinking and just really gave them some great tools to take away. So I really hope that you'll look at the Bronze Academy and sign up for that as well, because it is going to be an amazing, amazing event. So we have upcoming webinars on Monday. We have the new Business Associate webinar, and that's open to anyone actually, but it's specifically for new business associates. So that's at 12 noon Eastern. Then on the 13th is the U.S. Inform webinar for coaches. On the 14th, we have the Manager Development webinar, and that's at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for everyone that does participate in that webinar, you do get 25 I Inspire points, so definitely something to put in your calendar. On the 19th, we have a webinar that talks about what is Inform. It's only about 30 minutes, and this is a webinar that you would promote to people that are interested in becoming either a coach or that are interested in being a participant in your Inform group. So definitely want you to promote that. Then on the 20th, again, is the U.S. Inform webinar for coaches. 26th, we have a webinar on the NSP opportunity. And again, that's about half an hour, and that's a webinar that you would invite people that are interested in learning more about, becoming a business associate, becoming, starting to do Nature Sunshine as a business. So that is taking place on the 26th, and the 27th, again, is the U.S. Inform webinar for coaches. All of these can be found on our website as far as registering. You can click on the calendar, and you can have the links there, or you can go on the webinar section on the website. So that is all I have for you today for promotions. So again, thank you so much for listening. So if anybody has any questions right now, I don't see anything that's come in. But I do want to...
I do have one comment, Monta. I made an error there. It's ALC that you want to add for the mucus. So it's ALC, and the way I adjust that for children is just figure the dosage that's on the bottle, that is for an adult, and just take an average adult body of 120 to 150 pounds and cut that by the size of your child. So in other words, if I had a 60-pound child, I would use half a dose, and if I had a 30-pound child, I'd use a third of the dose. And you can just open that up and put it into whatever, either into your smoothie, whatever liquid, and that's an easy way to get it in. So I wanted to give you that correction. Go ahead, Wancha.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that. Somebody had a question that they were having issue downloading the PDF attached, and it will be up on the website most likely by the end of tomorrow. So that will be, and the recording as well. So you have that, and if there's no other questions, we will wrap up this webinar today. Thank you so much, Julie, for taking the time to be with us today. Fantastic information, and those of us with kids or grandkids will definitely use some of the tips that you gave us here today. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you at conference. Make sure you're signing up, and can't wait to see everybody there. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.